Welcome to another episode of Until It's Done, a devoted podcast. I'm your host, Dana Lynn Kay, and I'm here in the studio once again with my friend Sarina Taylor. Hi, Sarina.
Hi, Dana.
All right, so we're just going to jump right in because I think this topic is an important one to do this time of year. It's holiday time again. I feel like it's like, here it is again. It's like one of my favorite and least favorite times of year. I do love holiday time, like the feeling of the festivities and the stuff and all that. And I feel like they start with Halloween. We have Halloween coming up, Thanksgiving coming up, and then we've got obviously, Hanukkah, Christmas, Kwanzaa, all those holidays packed into December, and then the New Year. So it's just one thing after another, and also folded in there are all the different parties and things that people are invited to, and obviously office parties and holiday parties with friends and blah, 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 blah. And it's I feel like it's a really rough time for people that all of a sudden the mindset shifts. And, I don't know, I feel like between October and New Year's, it's people get a little oh, New Year's is almost there and that'll be my go time. But right now I'm just kind of, I'm enjoying the season, right? And what do you think?
There's so much anxiety when it comes to the holidays for a lot of people because I think a lot of the reason is they don't really know how to maybe have a little bit of something that they shouldn't feel like they should have without kind of getting back on track properly.
Yeah.
It's easy even for me to fall off track during the holidays.
Oh God, I struggle because a lot of Thanksgiving's my favorite holiday and it's because of the food. I mean, honestly, if you were Dana, what does Thanksgiving mean to you? I'd be I love turkey and stuffing.
Oh.
It has nothing to do with the real meaning. It's always attached to food. It's always attached to food. And it's food and family and it's tradition. It's we like it because it's an excuse that the family all gets dressed up and it's a cozy holiday and we all come together and it's a day that no one's working, everyone's hanging out and we're making food and the house smells good and it feels very comforting. And so it's a fun holiday to just eat the foods you love and veg out. And so it's my favorite holiday. And it's because of the food and the family and the veg out.
I actually have a good Thanksgiving memory of you.
Oh God.
3 years ago when I had COVID,
yeah,
you had a big Thanksgiving at your mom's house.
Yes.
And you put together a whole care package and left it outside on Greg's truck.
Yeah, for you to pick up because you couldn't join us.
The only thing I could do is get in my car and drive there, pick it up, and go home.
Yeah, I was you should still have Thanksgiving. I invited you over to join our family, and you couldn't. You were so sick, and then so I said, all right, and we even put in did we put in a bottle of wine?
There was
we put in dessert. We put in the whole. We were here's a Thanksgiving feast, and then you picked it up and brought it home.
It was really sweet. I ate Thanksgiving food for a long time because I had a lot of people that were bringing me food and leaving it outside
because you were sick.
Else.
Yeah. Yep. That was a fun one. That year was a little weird because everybody was so on edge about getting sick. Yeah, I mean the first holiday coming up is Halloween that has a lot of people talk about it because we're so surrounded by candy and chocolate and our kids I have 3 kids and they come home with pounds and pounds because it's I now live in a neighborhood where we have trick-or-treaters, so I have to have candy at my house, and then the kids can trick-or-treat for 6 hours, starting for after school. They can't wait to get out. They're trick-or-treat, and they come home, Bodie will actually drop off one pillowcase full of candy and go back out. And I'm like, dude, you're like, really? Is this? And I don't even think it's about the candy. It's more fun for the kids to like, how much ground can they cover and how much candy can they collect? But still, then they end up coming home and they're like hoarding this candy. They're hiding it. And it's so funny because one year as he was dropping off his bags and he was going back out, I was dumping his candy back into the candy that I was giving out to the kid at the front. Cause I was like, no, like this is not happening. I was like, here, the kids would come and I'm like, take as much as you want. And like that was a jerk move as a mom, but
I get it.
It's rough.
We used to hoard our Halloween candy. We were kids too. It was like, to my dad, you can have one of those Kit Kat bars. You can have this, and that, but the rest you're not touching.
Oh my gosh. See, I've
Savages.
never been that mean mom. Like and like here I am, like, in the health and fitness and nutrition industry and everything. And it's like, I didn't want it to be, it's funny. It's, you know what? Because I haven't done that last year, the kids, the first couple days, they're all excited and they're eating candy and whatever. And like, I'm like, look, the candy's not going to kill them. Like, fine.
Yeah.
Okay. So he's there. And then all of a sudden I remember last year, Bodie took his candy up to his room and I would find some wrappers and he's hoarding it. And after like a few days, like it wore off, like where because I wasn't like, you can't have this. And Bodie like forgot about the bag of candy, like the more time went by. And I think it was during the summer when he was away at sleepaway camp, I was cleaning out his room and I found a huge pillowcase full of Halloween candy that Bodie never touched again. And I was like, oh shoot, like that's amazing. Cause I like didn't even think about it. But like, I'm like, that's awesome that the kid, like it was a few days. I did not say no. I did not try to take it from him. I didn't make him cry anything. And then he ended up just being like, whatever. And then he was over it. And so I threw it all out and I was like, cool, that actually made me feel good. And same thing with the girls. With the girls, I didn't, I did like limit it, but I was like, guys, pick like 2 candies you bring to school in your lunch. When you come home, like, you pick a candy or whatever, and that's it. And then after like about a week or so, the novelty wore off. And then one day they were at school and the candy went away. Now that's how we, I deal with the kids. But for myself, okay, let's talk about this because some people do struggle with Halloween candy in their house. So I'm a big Reese's Peanut Butter Cup person. Really love Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
Those are fire.
Fire. Like, I love them.
I like them
I
too.
do like Snickers. I like the caramel peanut chocolate combo. Yeah, I love Twix. I love, like, I'm a chocolate girl. This is why I love
too.
brownie batter. Like, I love it, and I love it with peanut butter, which is why I do Devotion brownie batter with the PB Fit all the time. I love it. So, that's what actually helps me like survive life. But yeah, I will have candy. I'm not, one year we joked I put Flex flavors in a thing and like, I was like, okay, I'm not really we did a funny reel with Flex flavors as though when like kids were trick or treating and then I opened the door and I was like, pick a Flex flavor. And they were like, this is the worst house ever. But that like reminded me like when you'd go to like somebody like in your neighborhood, it was like a dentist and they were giving out like floss and
a toothbrush
or like something, and you're just like, okay.
Yeah,
or they give out boxes of raisins. It's like, stop! Don't ruin the holiday for everybody. Like, let's keep with the tradition. The tradition is sugary candy. Fine, okay, fine. Like, as much as that is not what I like or have or anything in my house. Fine, I get it. It's the tradition of just like we're not gonna mess with Thanksgiving. We're not gonna mess with Halloween. Don't mess with as soon as people start being like, I'm making a healthier Thanksgiving. We're gonna steam our green beans and we're gonna have some steamed chicken or like a turkey, and we're just gonna make some roasted potatoes. And I'm just like, why bother? Like, that's what I eat all the time. Like, put some butter on it, put some green beans on it. Like, stop it already. It's one meal, one day, one time a year. Like, Like, it actually would piss me off on, like, social media when they're like, this is my healthier Thanksgiving. I'm like, okay. Like,
who are you fooling?
Like, stop. Stop. Like, that's not living. Like, okay.
There's a reason there's no bodybuilding competitions at that time of year, right?
No, usually people start prep after.
Correct.
Because they're like, eat, have fun, eat. Like, we're not doing, this is one day a year. And I know that there's always something. Look, we have one birthday a year. We got one Christmas day a year. We got one, and all of a sudden you're like, okay, But look, you pick what's important to you. You know, my birthday, like I've always said in the past, is not important for me. There isn't a special meal. I don't always have a special tradition. If you do it and just embrace it and be like, this is what we're doing. But Thanksgiving is a special meal for me, and it is a favorite holiday for me, and it is a meal that I don't ever make stuffing. I don't ever make cranberry. I don't like just all year round.
Yeah.
Why I don't do it, I don't know. I don't make candied yams. I don't put marshmallows on yams. I don't do, but one time a year, one day, every 365 days, we make this meal. And I don't normally eat stuff. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. So I save it for that one day a year. That's it. So don't take that away from me. I'm going to do it. I'm not going to cry over it. Is it going to like probably be rough the next day? Maybe. Maybe not. But I'm going to tell you how I prepare for that meal too. We're going to talk about that.
What does your Thanksgiving plate look like?
I love turkey with cranberry. I'm not huge with gravy, but like it's okay. Like I don't waste the time on mashed potatoes. I don't really care for them. Sweet potatoes, I will crush all day. The marshmallow thing I didn't grow up with, but like in the recent years, like if we go to the country club or what they make them, I'm like, oh dang, this is delicious. I don't waste. I love roasted root vegetables. Oh my God, so good. My mom's country club makes those. Like we have it where we make it at home. We have our whole spread at home. Or if we're all just like, dude, we're too tired, we're too lazy this year, let's just order from the club. They make amazing food. That's amazing. So like root vegetables they make, I love it. I do love a really good salad with all the fixins in it. Like meaning like I love like the the seeds and the cranberries and like all that, you know what I mean? Like the cheeses and love that. I love it. It's like just a junked up version of like healthy food. Green beans almondine with the butter and the almonds, right?
Yes.
But the thing is what makes it so special is like I don't normally eat like that. So if that one day a year I crush that food, I love it. It tastes good. Like, but I don't, that's what keeps it special. That,
Yes.
What is your stuff?
I would be a lot of white meat turkey.
Yeah.
I don't like dark meat. I just don't like the taste.
Okay.
White meat turkey. I definitely like mashed potatoes, stuffing, and some gravy.
Okay.
And it depends. I'm not a big carrot eater. I don't love carrots, but I made a really good sweet potato casserole last year with the marshmallows on top. Yeah, it was really good.
So now, okay, headed back real quick to Halloween. So we've got Halloween coming up, and maybe by the time you know what, by the time this episode launches, Halloween's done. I hope you guys did well with it, and didn't fall down the trap. But it's really hard for me. Like, what's that expression about? Like opening Pandora's box or like just going. So I tend, depending on where I'm at, I really try just not even to go down that rabbit hole and even eat one Reese's. And I know there are plenty of coaches and people who are like, I try to tell my clients, like, just have one, or, just put that, let's like work that into your macros and enjoy, enjoy 2 chocolates. And I'm just like, if that could work for you, I love it, and I'm so happy for you that you can have one Reese's peanut butter cup. I cannot.
I'm the exact same.
Okay.
Exactly. With Kit Kat. If I start a Kit Kat, I'm going to have a dozen.
Right.
Because people like you and I that eat pretty clean and we work out, we want that. Our bodies want that sugar and whatever. Once I have it, it's game over.
There's melts in your mouth and the peanut butter, the chocolate. I can taste it right now. I just feel like I can just like.
I know.
Oh my God. But so I can't. And then once it's on my counter, like here's the thing. If Greg brought one home for me and he was like, here, Dane, here's a Reese's peanut butter cup. And say I decided I was going to eat that and that's it. Okay. I could do it because there's no more left. There's no more. There's no more. So I would have it and I'd be like, oh, that's a bummer. I wish there was more, but there's not. Halloween is different because there is a huge temptation to keep going. And that's what makes it different for me. Because I'm not a one and done type of girl, I'm going to now go, God, that tasted so good. And then I'm going to be like, oh, there's a couple more in there. Oh, there's a couple more. And then the kids bring home their baskets and then they have some. And then they're like, Mom, you want some? And all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God. So once I have that taste on the lips forget it. Like it's it's not good. So I usually tend not to eat any. I make a hard, or I decide in my head and I make the hard rule. Like, Dana, just don't touch it. Just don't touch it. And just because I know, you have to know your limits and you have to know like what you can control and what you can't. If you're a person who says, I will put 3 aside and I can control it and I want to eat this, that's awesome. And if you can, I know we've discussed this with things like, for me, popcorn, nut butters, they are. And this is not about disordered eating where it's like, oh, you should be able to eat everything. I understand that. I should be able to eat everything. However, if I start a big bag of popcorn, I cannot just roll. I will try to roll up the bag and put it back in the cabinet. It is calling me. It is calling me. I will walk in that pantry. I will stand in the pantry and finish the bag. I'm sorry. I just will.
I'm not sure I've ever seen anyone, my dad included, eat more popcorn than you.
I can eat a 5-pound bag of popcorn.
I've seen you at a baseball game refill the tub like 3 times. You're like, once I start.
Sometimes I would go to the movies just to get the unlimited popcorn. Yeah. No,
and
so
that's okay.
So for me, popcorn is not really allowed in my house. It's not welcome in my house just because I know it's a trigger food for me, meaning I will go in on it and I won't stop. Same things with like certain nut butters, those fancy nut butters with all the crap in it.
Yeah.
Forget it. Like I tried, like I can't. And if you can control it, good for you. But like I just need, if nut butter is like on my plan or I'm eating it and I'm putting it in my overnight oats, it's got to just be like plain, unsalted, doesn't freaking tempt me to go in on it with a spoon.
Yeah.
Because it's high caloric and it's a lot of fat and it's not good. It's not. It's not. So anyway, that's what Halloween candy, that's my approach with Halloween candy. And it's unfortunate, but like, I don't have a lot of self-control when it comes to certain, once I go in on it. So this year, again, I'll probably do the same thing. And now what I will do is I will make myself like that night while they're trick-or-treaters will be out, like I'll make myself like a big like devotion something. And like I will feel satisfied and like I will do something with devotion. And that is where my devotion came into play.
You know, it was really cool. One year we had Halloween together, you and I, and we had fun sitting out, giving out candy.
Yes,
we were putting on those wigs, but we weren't tempted to really eat it because we were chatting.
We're having fun.
Yeah, if you're sitting there by yourself, alone in a room with it, it's harder.
And like once I start having fun and then I introduce the candy into the fun, it becomes part of the fun. And then I don't even care. Then I'm just like, and I'm like chatting and popping them into my mouth. What is it? Like when you're just mindlessly, like I'm just like, Sarina, I'm eating a candy. I'm grabbing another one. I'm grabbing another. And then it becomes like social eating. And so like, I really have to make an effort. And it's just the truth of the matter because this is not, Brody's 14. So I've had like now 14 Halloweens with the temptation of kids. Before that, when I lived in New Jersey, we had no trick-or-treaters. I lived on a street with like no sidewalks or lights. And then I lived in the Hollywood Hills in LA. So I didn't have that. I was like Halloween, I could shut it down. I didn't have to deal with it. But once I had kids and that became like, okay, guess we're doing this. I live in a neighborhood like with 40 kids on my block. Okay, well now I'm going to need some tools in my tool chest.
Well, here's also part of the problem. So I've lived in a lot of neighborhoods and I don't have kids. So it's like, are we going to get kids at our house or no? Do we buy a bag of Halloween candy and then it's in the house or what?
Or like somebody rings your doorbell and you're like, want a can of tuna? Like, what are you supposed to give out?
The pre-packed bags of tuna.
Right? Like, here you go. I know. So then you're like, oh, we should have candy in the house just in case. And then you're like, crap, 3 people came or no one came and now I've got bags of candy, which is what I used to do like an idiot. And so, it's rough. But, so my strategy with that, with the candy, is obviously get rid of it as soon as I can once I'm done with it. And I don't even feel guilty about throwing it into the garbage. Honestly, people are like, you should donate it. And I'm like, no, like nobody needs it. Like, I'm sorry. It was for fun, but it's like, donate it where? So that somebody else can rot their teeth. Oh, so donate it to children who are homeless or who are whatever. Okay, so, and then they need dental work or they have diabetes or sugar. No, I'm not donating it to anyone. I throw it in the garbage. And if you think that I'm being cruel to the world, then I'm sorry, but I don't.
Remember when we were kids, though? we were never shamed about eating candy because we were going to gain weight. It was about rotting our teeth.
Yeah.
Because we were so active and we moved so much
Yep.
that we didn't have to worry about that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And now everything is like, especially as an adult, it's like, am I really, what's going to happen if I eat this? I just know what my body feels like when I eat clean and I eat well, when it's tight, as opposed to when I go off the rails a bit, and it's not worth it.
No, it's not. You also have to remember, like, you should be like, is this worth, like, do I really care about, and I don't like it when it's like there's those things on social media where it'll be like, eat one Kit Kat equals 700 burpees. And it's like, okay, stop. Like, no one's doing that. Let's not equate. Like,
yeah, don't shame people like that. Like,
right. You can eat it if you want to eat it. But what we're saying is, if it is a trigger for you to not be able to stop, try not to even start. If you can pull 3 candies aside or something, because really, I mean, look at the matter. Like, are you like, should I be eating 500 calories of Reese's peanut butter cups? Probably not. But if you can pull 1 or 2 cups aside and be like, look, this is what I'm eating, and then you can look at the basket the rest of the night and be okay with it, then I think that's amazing and that's powerful and that's empowering for me to hear. What I'm just saying is know your limits, know where you're at, and also know, like, is this in line with my goals right now? Because for me, I want to really, really keep it tight, stay in line until my Thanksgiving, because that's what means more to me than just another Reese's peanut butter cup. Like, I want to enjoy Thanksgiving in a way that I'm like, look, I'm not worried right now about what the macros are, what the calories are. Today is my day that I'm going to relax and enjoy and all of that. Now, that being said, we are going to probably sign up to do a 5K that morning, which I know a lot of people work out before their Thanksgiving feasts. Do you have a strategy of what you do before you eat a big meal like that?
It's always better to work out because then your body wants that food. I usually end up working. A lot of times I have to work,
right.
But if I can, I get a workout in. Honestly, I really like doing like a group fitness class on Thanksgiving because there's a lot of energy. It's always so much fun because it's a holiday. It's just like any other holiday when we have a class or whatever. It's just a lot more fun for people.
Yeah.
And so I like participating in that. But it's going to be your body's going to be a little bit more burned out. So you're going to get more nutrients going where they should be as opposed to when
I think of it like as priming my body. As a prime. It's like prime it for the food. And so Greg wants to do a 5K that morning, and Bryce is now into running 5Ks. Bodhi says he'll do it. Maybe Bijou will walk it. I gotta get that girl moving a little more. So I think we're gonna do some kind of like fun like turkey trot thing. But what I really like, I like to train before my workout and after my workout. I really like I said, I'm not going to worry about. I'm gonna just eat that day. I'm not gonna. I never do. I always worry. I mean, I never diet or whatever you want to call it. Like, I never am like tracking, like, on Thanksgiving, on any holiday or anything that I decide. I mean, unless I was like competing in a show or something, but like we said, like who the freak would do that? So yeah, my strategy is always like that morning. I like to lift and do some cardio. I like to get my body primed up to really like take in whatever, to handle the food load better. Have my metabolism really cranking. And then always the day after Thanksgiving, that morning is always also a workout. I like to just sandwich a nice big feast like that in between 2 workouts to also like really like feed my muscles. Like, I feel like, right? And so get the most out of it.
Right. Think of the carbs you just took in and whatever else. Let's use that.
And build some good, like get some good, like nice pumps going. Some good pumps after those meals. And then you know what? And then what I do is I make sure that I am planned and ready to go the next morning. So like if you're having your Thanksgiving feast and you're having a fun time, first of all, leftovers, if they are a problem for you, don't take them. If you know that you're like, okay, I'm going to just keep going for days, if they're a problem for you. Now, we bring them home because Greg and the kids love the leftovers. Can I keep crushing leftovers for days? No. No, I wish I could. I crush that day and I don't look back with regrets. However, I do have a plan the morning after Thanksgiving that I'm getting back up. I'm going to go get in a really great workout. I usually work whatever muscle is my weakness. So, or that I like to work, like I like to do like some like delts or things that like I love to like, keep big and strong and full. Legs are a really great one to work out like before and after a workout. So you could even put like a hamstring, glute type of back day like before, and then the next day do like a more like some quads and delts and just kind of like hit all the body parts but separate them into two, but like your favorite, and separate them however you like.
Yeah,
but use that food.
You do a good like glute and hamstring workout before, you're going to be hungry. Those are big muscles.
Yeah.
Going to be hungry. But it's also important for people to understand, like, you have to fuel right after your workout. Don't try to save your calories for that big meal.
Yeah. No, I'll always...
The bomb.
No, like I'll still, and I won't show up to the Thanksgiving feast like starving. So what I do is like I will get in my workout, but like I do like I'll do a scoop of devotion and like a banana or like something, and then it's not a ton of food, but it's enough to like kind of carry me. We do an early Thanksgiving. So like we wake up, we have some food, crush our workout, and if you want to eat right after, but then we get ready and then we go over and we're ready to eat. It's not like we're waiting till 5 o'clock or something.
Yeah, I love an early Thanksgiving.
Yeah, we usually eat around like 1:30, 2 o'clock, because that way we can eat again if we want.
I know. A, I like how your family thinks.
Yes.
B, I feel like that's an American thing. I feel like Americans eat a little earlier. Canadians tend to have their Thanksgiving a little bit later. And I think it's because Canadian Thanksgiving is on a Monday and a lot of people do it on Sunday. So they'll have a 5 or 6 o'clock dinner.
Yeah.
Not too many Canadians that I know will have their big meal on Thanksgiving. They'll have it the night before. Okay. But just because we have that extra day and whatever else.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
So it's
See, we all know like we've got Black Friday the next day. The next day is supposed to be like this shopping day. And then we've got a long weekend. And then, so it's just like, we're just like dragging it out. So the earlier you start eating, the longer the festivities. There's a lot of football. You can have appetizers.
We can eat again.
Oh my gosh.
Well, then there's you can save room for pie.
Well, and then we do desserts, and I do like desserts. I have a sweet tooth, so then I'm doing desserts, and then I do eat, and I'll be back in the kitchen. I'll end up having more root vegetables, and then I'm picking at the turkey, and then I'll do it all day long. But then the next day, I will do leftovers with turkey, but I'm not now. I'm not eating all of the heavy, like with the butters and all the stuff. I mean, it's just, calorically, it's like, okay, it starts to add up quickly on me. But yeah, I mean, I love that meal. I'm not going to miss out on it. And then I think what happens is when people with Thanksgiving, they continue with the leftovers or whatever. And then that kind of drags into December, because like that's what, like the last week of November, and then they're kind of going, and then all of a sudden they're into December, and then that's when holiday parties start happening, and then it's like, and it's getting cold in most places in the United States, especially, it's getting really cold, not for us in Florida, but when it's cold, it's like you're covering up more, you're not very motivated.
You want to eat more comfort foods.
Yeah, we're making, you want to make like stews and chilies and soups and all this stuff, and it's cold and hot chocolate and and it just, and I know, and then you're thinking like, well, you know what, it's fine. New Year's is right around the corner, and like I'll get it together after New Year's. But meanwhile, every day that you're like, no, I'll wait, it's like you're moving in the wrong direction. And you're further away from where you really want to be starting January. Because now January, you're going to have a big mess to clean up.
Well, think about it. The holidays essentially are like, if you start before end of October, before Halloween, but realistically, Halloween excluded, you're 6 weeks of holidays.
Yeah.
It's like 15% of the year.
Yeah.
It's a lot of damage you can do in that time.
Yep. Yeah. So that's why I feel like it's like every year I'm always like, I'm just like, no, we're not starting January 1. Because you know what the other funny thing is it's like January 1 comes and everyone thinks it's this like a magical day that like go time. January 1 is go time. And then it's like January 1 comes and it's just like, it feels like every other day. And it's like, oh, is it really go time? Did you really? And then how many people join a gym and then it peters out? Like they say, like the gyms are like crazy in January, and then by February they're like normal. Like it just, you know. And look, I give anybody credit who gets going and joins a gym and gets going, and I welcome any newbies or anybody. And it's like I'm never making fun of anybody. I'm never one to say like, oh, look at this guy just shows up, whatever, is never here. No, I'm like, but like it's like stay, like keep coming back, make it a lifestyle. Like the January 1ers. It's like. Ugh, like you were just like hoping January you were going to get some magical fairy dust of motivation and discipline. Like no, like you just needed to be a lifestyle. You needed to just cruise through January 1 and just keep on moving.
That's why we always talk. We've had this conversation before. Motivation doesn't last forever.
No.
You need discipline. But if you don't have guidance or structure, you will not be disciplined. And that's why they fall off.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and that's why it's like you need a plan. You need to lay out a plan of like what your long-term plan, not just like, oh yeah, starting January 1, I'm going for it. It's like, no, like really lay out your plan of like, what are you doing? What does your structure look like? And like with your goals, you know, always everybody with the New Year's resolutions and the goals and whatever, but it's like, what are they? And are they really things that are going to stick with you? Like, are they realistic? Are they attainable or like maintainable? Like, can you maintain doing that? You know, for me, I struggle with getting to hot yoga. I love hot yoga, and yet I'm telling you, getting there, I am so bad at it because by the end of the day, the last thing I want to do is get back into my car, into my yoga stuff, go there, do a hot yoga, get all sweaty and gross, then drive home. It feels gross and cold in the air conditioning. I'm all, and then it's like, then I got to make my dinner. And it's like, we take this class, it starts at 7:15. It doesn't end till like, what is it? If it's a 90-minute class and then we got to drive home and then I'm not eating dinner till like 9 o'clock and I'm just like, oh, screw it. So then I end up not going. But it's like, I got to go. So like I have to, but then the thing is what happens is if you set a goal, like I'm going to hot yoga 3 times a week. No, that's unrealistic. You're not. If you're right now struggling to get there at all, same thing with the gym, like no, then 3 times a week sounds like a lot. But just be like Thursday nights. That's all we're looking for. We're looking for one time.
Yeah, you're not going to do everything all at once. You're not going to change your whole life by tackling everything at once. It's baby steps. So that's why if you take these baby steps now, you don't have to worry about Thanksgiving, what you're eating that day. You don't have to worry about what you eat during the other holidays.
Yeah.
You can kind of let it go because you've got a plan in place and you've built that foundation in order to allow yourself to be successful because you have something to fall back on.
Right. Now, another area that I know makes people struggle during the holiday time that I have never had an issue with is that I am not a drinker. I never made alcohol like a thing for myself. And so like I'd rather eat my calories than drink my calories. Right? So, but I know for a lot of people, they want their wine, they want their holiday cocktails. And then what happens is I also know, because it's not like I don't drink at all, but like if I have a glass of wine or I have a cocktail, it makes me A, probably want another, B, let my guard down, eat some more. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh, okay, YOLO, I don't care because I've had 2 cocktails. I feel great. My friends are all here. We're hanging out, we're eating, we're chatting. And then all of a sudden, like, you know, you kind of let things go again. And that can happen a lot during holiday time because at every holiday event, function, whatever, there's like open bar, you know, you're offered a drink as soon as you walk in. It's like, oh, holiday cocktails. And that can be really rough for people. Like sometimes it's the liquid calories that are actually harder on people than the actual food calories. Right?
Yeah. I mean, from somebody who doesn't drink, I haven't drank in like 19 years. Nobody needs alcohol. Like you don't need it.
No.
But it's the same psychology. But I'll tell you one thing, from a client standpoint, not all I hear, but what I hear from clients is, I just really need that glass of blah, blah, blah each day. I just really need to have a glass of wine. I just couldn't live without my wine. I couldn't live without my bourbon. I never have anybody come up to me and say, I really couldn't live without my fried chicken. They would never say that because it's like a weakness. It's almost like alcohol is acceptable, but eating bad foods isn't.
Alcohol also makes you feel a certain way. It like relaxes you. And so they're looking for that like release. And so what I find is like, it's like you need to find something else that gives you that feeling of that relaxation, that release, like whether it's taking a hot bath. And I know like, you know, I mean, that's not the same as drinking a glass of wine, but you know, I have a infrared sauna. And so now I've been like sitting in the sauna, which gives me that like release, you know? But yeah. And the thing is like, if they say like, oh, I just need that one glass of wine, can it just stay at one? Or like once you have that glass of wine, does it make you want to just like top it off? Or then do you kind of, you know, it's like, if people can control it, I guess you could work it in if you really need it.
Yeah, there's some people that can. Like if I have a client that has like a glass of bourbon every night or whatever, she fits it in her macros and XYZ, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's not a problem. It's just that's what she chooses to be her thing. Okay. She doesn't eat chocolate. She doesn't eat, you know what I'm saying?
Okay, yeah. So then that's a good answer for people wondering if like...
Because she can
still work. Yeah.
She can do just one.
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. It's just like you and I with the candy bars. I can't just do one Kit Kat or whatever. So there's no way I can even start.
So we're launching this product. It didn't come out yet. And hopefully maybe by the time this is, it'll be launched. Who knows? But it's called HydroFlex. And we have 4 flavors. So, and they're sugar-free. You can add them to your water. You can add them to vodka, you can add them to yogurt, you can add them to whatever. But there's margarita, classic margarita, party punch, pina colada, and an orange cream swirl. And they, you know, obviously I add them to my water. There's a little bit of electrolytes in there, B vitamins, stuff like that. But I don't like plain water. It's like, I can't with plain water. So I add HydroFlex to my water. And it helps me get it down all day, and I can drink in a gallon easily when I add it. Now, and it also has some electrolytes, like I said, which is, like I said, it's been very important to me to be adding electrolytes. But what I also wanted to do is make it where it was like a cleaner cocktail. So, you know, it tastes like a margarita. So first of all, you could do like sparkling, you know, you could do like... you could do something sparkling and add the flavor to it, or you can do vodka and add like party punch, or you could do a rum and add pina colada, and like you're not adding all the sugary syrups and all of that. And so, because for me, if I do go out with friends and we are being social, and it's very hard. I'm like, what drink do I even want?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? And so I'll be like, Diet Coke with vodka. Like, I'm like, I don't want any of these syrups. I don't want all the sugar in it. It's like, even if the vodka itself isn't terrible as far as like calories, and no, I don't really want but I'll have I will be social, and I'm a social drinker, but I don't want all the calories that come with all those like fruity drinks. And I'm a fruity drink girl. I do like the pina coladas and the party punch. Like, I do love fruit punch. So that way, now I will add like a stick, like I'll just say, I'll just have a vodka, and I'll add a stick of the party punch to the vodka. It's delicious. I sip on it, and fine. Like, that's all. But I don't have like all the syrups or all, you know, the grenadine and all the simple, you know, syrups and stuff like that. So, I mean, that was just another, because the thing is you can't be realistic. It's not realistic to be like, everybody stop drinking, stop eating chocolate.
Right.
Stop it. Like, it's like, okay, they're not going to stop it. Like, but if I'm like, look, like, just like with brownie batter with devotion, like, I love chocolate. I just said it. And I love chocolate and peanut butter. But peanut butter is a trigger for me. And chocolate, I cannot house it. But okay, I can do brownie batter and PB Fit, and I can just then keep it under control another day, another day, another day, another day. So it adds up that I can stay well. So I figure with people who want to socially drink, or they just need their whatever, okay. But then like add a HydroFlex to it. Or, you know what I mean? Or like, here's your fruity cocktail, and just get a little bit of the vodka, or forget the vodka, just drink the margarita mix, and then you'll feel like you're drinking something, and then be done with it and move on. And like maybe that'll help you cut some alcohol and cut the sugars and cut all that stuff.
The more options that we give people, the more excuses they come up with.
But at least it's like it's a swap. You know what I mean? It's just like what we do with the Starbucks hacks. It's like just like we say, if you go to Starbucks every day and you are buying that the Frappa Macchiato, whatever they're called, or whatever they are, mocha Frappuccinos, and it's like 500 calories or whatever it is. Like you can get them. There's some of them are ridiculous and all that sugar. So we're not saying like, okay, if you like it, get it. But what we're saying is if you like it, but you don't like the calories and the sugar and the fact that there's no protein, here's an option to swap it out. Here, take mocha java chip, pour it into your iced coffee. It's delicious, and you're going to crush that same craving. And now you save the sugar, you save the calories, you added protein. Bob's your uncle. Have a nice day. And now that's going to add up all week to where you're taking in a ton more protein. You cut out the sugar, and you also saved all those hundreds and hundreds of calories, which is going to result in a lot of probably weight loss over time, because that's a lot of calories you're saving on.
Well, and going back to what you were saying about how some people like to make a healthy Thanksgiving and whatever, Thanksgiving is one day. When you start going through the holidays, people are bringing foods into your work, or they're bringing sweets in, or you have all these sweets around. Cut your sweet craving by having a game plan. You guys have 1 million recipes on the Devotion website. Find something.
Yes.
You can do that.
It's okay, so when I was saying Thanksgiving is one day, okay, it's the same thing with a Frappuccino. If you want to get a Frappuccino one day. But most people are not. They're doing it day after day after day after day. And that's where the problem is. So if you want to do it day after day after day after day, just like if you want a chocolate cake day after day after day, then do it with something like Devotion.
Right.
Then you can do it. If there was a hack for that Thanksgiving meal every single day, I would probably do it. But because they're really, I mean, sure, I'm sure I can be very creative, but there's a lot about that meal that I'm like, I really don't want to swap. And I don't care.
It's a big effort. It's a big effort.
But like brewing, like getting an iced coffee, making mocha java chip or whatever, and pouring it into your iced coffee. Okay, that's not like really that big of an effort. Like it's more of an effort actually to drive all the way to Starbucks, order that crap. So what I'm saying is like, okay, there are certain things that are special and you should enjoy them as they are that one time. But if you want it every single day, I want chocolate every single day. So it's not going to be a real piece of chocolate cake every day. Will it be a Devotion mug cake? Yes, it can be that. So it's like, that's what creates a healthier lifestyle and healthier swaps. And if people just want to come up with the excuses, then fine, that's an excuse. If you just want, because like you said, the more options you give them, the more they're going to come. Okay, but meanwhile, like we're saying, like you don't have to give up these yummy things. And if there's a swap that's equivalent, which in my opinion, I've had a Frappuccino at Starbucks and I've had a Devotion with the mocha java chip. Holy crap. I don't even think the Starbucks one is that good.
Well, here's the thing. The people that have the same palate as you, if you eat well, you're going to like Devotion. If you are obsessed with putting,
a lot of sugar and fat and heaviness. Yeah.
Good. That's why when I hear a grown man be like, I don't like vegetables. A, are you 5 years old? And B, it's because you probably eat like crap. So your palate sucks.
Yeah, see, people think when I'm like, oh my God, I love vegetables. Like, I love them. Love them. But it's like my body loves healthy food. And I can have sandwiches without mayonnaise slopping all over it. I can have, but I guess it's just over time enjoying things a different way and not always having to have everything fried or not. And I'm not saying fried isn't delicious, but like, okay, like, I can have it. I can have my, chicken other ways. I can have, so yeah, it's just, I think that it's like coming down with the holidays, it's keeping the holidays in their time, in their place, and saying, I'm going to allocate Christmas Eve and Christmas Day or whatever special to your family to eating those things with no guilt, Don't worry about being on a diet, a plan, a macro counting, whatever the heck you do. Enjoy that time and then say, okay, when that day is done, it's done. I'm now going back to my healthy eating and putting a hard stop. And that is the difference between people who can make it where they can enjoy the holiday and then go on it and back to their lifestyle, and the people who just drag it out to the point that they're like, I gained 25 pounds over the holidays. And you're like, well, did you know when the holiday was? Like, there's a start and stop. Like, you don't have to, the holiday doesn't have to be the entire month of December.
I heard somebody say one time, people are so focused on what they eat between December 25th and January 1st. And the reality of it is they should be focused on what they eat the other 51 weeks of the year.
Yes, exactly. It's like, oh my God, those holidays are not what's going to mess you up.
Correct. Didn't mess us up.
No.
I mean, you go ham.
I go ham.
Like, did you know what ham stands for? I did not know this. Hard as a mother beeper.
Really?
I found that out. Hard as a mother beeper is what ham means.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, I go
and
ham.
You do.
I go ham, but I love it. I enjoy it, and then I can leave it behind, and then I can look and feel great again. And you know, I'm not saying I'm perfect. Of course, there's going to be other times that there's going to be downfalls and trips and things. But it's like navigating the holidays. Look, we're all going through them at the same time, and then there should not be guilt behind them, and there should not be. But let's set up boundaries. Let's set up a plan. Enjoy them, and then leave them where they need to be left and make it special. I think it makes the holiday even more special. That's why I love Thanksgiving. It makes it more special because I'm not dragging it out, doing it every day for the next 3 weeks. I do it one day. I look forward to that one special day.
Agreed. That's what makes it special.
So, and then come January 1, if that's special to you, that's fine, but you need a plan that you're going to keep going. Don't keep it in fact, challenge yourself to start before January 1. I think that's the challenge.
If you have a game plan in place in advance, you'll be successful for sure.
Yeah. And plan it before January 1. Have it all set up. Yeah. Not January 1 comes and you're scrambling to figure it out. Like if you're going to work with a coach, or if you're going to start making healthy swaps, or you're doing whatever, it's like already be set up, ready to go, not scrambling, trying to figure it out. Because once that day comes and you're like, it's like all of a sudden, it's like, okay, it's like that magical moment is gone. Yeah. And then you're just like, all right, whatever, maybe next time. And then you're just back into however you were before.
Another year goes by. You're like, why didn't I take care of this last year?
Yep. No, and each year, it's like you got to aim to be better. Level up. Each year, level up. You know?
Agreed. You're a grown adult.
Yeah.
You're responsible for yourself.
Yep. And I think some of the goals also, I don't think need to be necessarily weight loss. I think it needs to be lifestyle changes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. All right. Well, with that, I think we said a lot about holidays. This was very powerful stuff.
Message us, you guys, too. If you have any questions, we're here to help. That's the goal.
Yep. Navigating through the holidays and then figuring out your plan. As always, Sarina's a coach. She can help you with that. If you need to map out a plan or you need a coach who can help you figuring out what your macros need to be, or just helping with support through the holidays, or even getting started January 1, whatever your your action, whatever your desire is, or whatever. I can't even think what I want to say, but your plan of action, or however you need to execute it. That's what I want to say. Whatever your plan of execution is. But anyway, thank you so much for being here again for this holiday. And you guys have a happy holiday. Stay devoted. Thanks for joining us on another episode of Until It's Done, a Devoted podcast.